What's up, guys? It's Nova here, and today we're going to be doing a little tips and trick video on just how to get better at Fortnite Battle Royale. So my first tip is you should probably start playing some solo squads so you know how fighting is, and know that whenever you're in a fight, if you're killing a team, like you get rid of a team, you want to know, you want to have that feeling of, are people going to come right after that, or are you going to be safe? And if you have that sense of urgency during games, then you'll be more aware of your surroundings and more ready to build bases and ready to fight people. Another tip, this is just if you have it, or if you can't do it, then it's okay. If you have if you can't afford a computer, I would extremely recommend playing on computer, because it's way, I wouldn't say easier, but it's just better to play on that. But if you can't afford it, you can also, I don't know about this, if you can do it on the Xbox One, but you can plug in a keyboard and mouse for the PlayStation 4 and play Fortnite Battle Royale on that, which is what I do now. I'm practicing on how to do that, while right now I'm also saving up for a computer. So whenever I get my computer, I will be able to play Fortnite and be decent. Another tip is just getting materials. You're gonna need materials a lot. With the new game modes, like, I don't know if you're into playing the new game modes. If you are, if you aren't, it doesn't matter. The new the game modes have, most of the time, I don't remember when they didn't, before the update, like with all the new map update with Tilted Towers and all that, the game modes, they'll have more increased materials. Like right now with the high explosive game mode, I think it's you get 60 wood instead of 30, you get 90 brick instead of 30, and then you get 120 metal, which is really good. And if you land places and you're the dominant person, as you can see in this video, those bushes right there, those are really good bushes to break. They give you, I think, about 15, which is good for a one-hit type of object. Like, they're one hit, so you don't have to like hit them multiple times. Trees, those pine trees are really good. Like the really big pine trees, the ones that have the leaves touching the ground, can give you a good 60 wood, I think. And also, if you want to get brick, most of the houses, a lot of the houses you hit will have brick. So if you want to hit the houses, those will also give you some brick, and obviously the stone boulders everywhere. And then metal, just hit cars. In the kitchen, you just saw in this in a little clip here, those can give you some, I think, if I could guess, about maybe 50 or 60 metal. That might be a wild stretch or something, but for metal, that's really good. Also, this goes hand in hand with the thing on the computer. It's good if you're on computer. It's easier to build, but at the same time, it isn't. You have to practice more on building, because you can just go straight to your building with like your building, instead of having to press circle or B on your controller. You can just go straight from like, say, your shotgun to your stairs, instead of having to press B or circle and then moving your thing to that specific build, which is really helpful with the, like, with just building in general. It's if you're like me, and you play on if you play on keyboard and mouse on your PlayStation, you'll know that it's harder to build, but at the same time it isn't, because it's easier to go towards your build. Okay, let me rephrase this. It's easier to go from one thing to another, and like go from a gun to building, than it is on a console, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you're like really good at building on console, but yeah, that helps me a lot. The keyboard and mouse. What's next tip? Loadout. I usually run pump tac. You can also run the pump tactical SMG or tactical SMG, or you can just run a regular pump or regular tac. It's whatever. But also, I don't know if people still like it. I'm not really becoming a big fan now. But with the new one-shot accuracy and the damage fall off, the drop off, the blue burst used to be really good. In my opinion, it's not, because those medium distant range fights that you could have, and you one burst somebody in the head, that doesn't happen a lot for me, because the damage just decreases too much. So I'd recommend using a regular blue AR or a SCAR, but whatever you want. It's whatever you want. You can use the burst if you want. I still use the burst. It's not my favorite anymore. My favorite type of assault rifle anymore, because its damage is just too low sometimes, and especially since you're using a burst, it's just hard to do that amount of damage quickly. But with a regular AR and a SCAR, you can just repeatedly shoot and do that damage to the person with one clip, like in seconds. Next tip, shotguns. As you can tell, the new update that came out a few weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, they got rid of they didn't really get rid of anything. They just changed the rarities around, and there's a blue pump and a green pump, and then it goes white tac to blue tac. Basically, the white tac is a green pump, green tac, and then the green pump, green tac is the blue tac, and then the blue tac is basically the purple tac. So it's not that different. It's just people say that the shotgun's damage was not changed at all, but I can see a difference. I don't know if it's just the RNG of the shots or what it is, but the shotguns just don't always do the right amount of damage that a shotgun should be doing. But at the same time, the heavy shotgun is pretty bad, in my opinion. It does no damage for what it is, and its headshots. I can hit a 13 damage headshot up close but if I use a pump, the pump will probably do 200 damage, which I'd rather choose a pump over a heavy shotgun. But sometimes, I just gotta pick up the heavy shotgun. Also with the shotguns, if you're not good with shotguns, either on keyboard and mouse, console, whatever you're playing on, I recommend lowering your sensitivity, and then if it's too slow, slowly increase it until you find the perfect sensitivity for you. Because I know if you're a PC player, or you use a keyboard and mouse on console, whatever, shotgunning is difficult at sometimes, because sometimes you flick it too hard, because the mouse sensitivity / if you want to call it DPI, I just learned about the DPI and all that stuff. I barely even know about it. That stuff is it's really hard to learn, I guess you could say, but it's different for everybody. So in my opinion, I lowered my sensitivity, and I just kept increasing or lowering or whatever until I found the right sensitivity. Okay, next tip would be how to land and where to land. So landing is one of the most important things in this game. You want to be one of the first people to land, or you're basically screwed. Because say you're landing at Retail Row or Tilted Towers, if you're landing on top of the building, you want to be the first person on top of that building, especially if there's like a shotgun or an AR there and there's no other guns. Because if somebody else gets a gun and you don't have the gun, you're basically dead. Because if you're tilted, and you're on top of a tower and you don't get the gun, you're basically dead, because you have to escape, but there's no way to escape unless you jump off the roof, and most of the time you'll die. But that's only for tilted, really. Now, you want to go into like those really caved in places, like the ravines and the rivers, You don't want to land. You don't want to go above trees or above hills, because then you'll just deploy your glider really, really early, which will make your landing really slow. And for where to land, if you want to go for a win, I don't recommend going tilted unless you are confident enough you can do that and you know you can do that. But I doubt that everybody. You could say you are really good at the game, no, and nobody take offense to this. You could say you're really good at the game, but really, you're just being cocky. You might think. I don't want to say this in a douchey way, but like, you want to get better by not going to the places that the best people go to, because then you'll get. Okay, sorry. You want. Okay, if you want to go to tilted, don't expect yourself to win that game, because 9 out of 10 times you're gonna get killed somehow at tilted, because people just get really lucky with their loot, or you just get really unlucky with your loot. But tilted is a good place to go if you're trying to get better, because it'll show you how to fight, different ways you can fight. And back to the building, you'll have to build a lot in tilted. Like, most of the time when I'm playing and I go to tilted, most of tilted is either destroyed or tilted is covered in building, because there's just a lot of build fights at tilted. And it's really a good / bad place to go. If you don't know the new theory that's going on, the meteor, I think you all know. If you don't, you're living under a rock. I wouldn't care if they got rid of tilted, because it makes sense. Everyone's going there every game. Like, there's at least 10 people going to tilted, and at least 10 people is at least 1 in 10 chance that you're gonna get 10 people going there. Most of the time, it's like 20 or 30 people going there. I've gotten into a game where at least half of the server is gone there. I don't like going there most of the time, but it's okay. Now, if you don't land at tilted, you'll most likely have a better chance at winning, because the tilted thing, almost everyone goes to tilted. And if you're not one of those people who go for the high kill games and you just want to get the wins, going somewhere else like salty, retail, pleasant, shifty, greasy, fatal, wherever you want to go, that's really all you need to do. You just go somewhere else. And if I like to land salty, sorry for the voice crack, I don't know. I like to land salty because it's like in the middle of the map, sort of, but like, people go there. I see that most people go salty or retail or greasy. Well, not greasy anymore, because I haven't seen a lot of people at greasy. I see people going salty, pleasant, and retail. Those are probably the biggest places other than tilted, in my opinion, because I see a lot of people at salty, and it's my favorite place to go, because it's like, it has enough houses for you to loot, and solo, duo, and squad. And if you want to go for the high kill games, it's a good place to branch off. Like, people go they're like, say you have a full squad and 2 people go somewhere and then 2 people go somewhere else. 2 people can go to like salty, and then 2 people go like pleasant or retail or greasy. Most of the time it's not greasy, but those 4 places are really good places to go, because the majority of the people who don't go to tilted will go there, unless they're noobs and, they just go onto the desolate areas where nobody goes to. If that, then it's okay. I doubt that they're going to kill you if you're good enough. If you're not, then, it's good practice. As I was saying earlier at the beginning, solo squads is a good method to practice learning how to fight, learning how to build. And also, okay, sorry, my mic cut out right there. Just stopped recording. What was I saying? Okay, we're gonna go now to snipers. If you don't know, if you just started this game, sniping is different. If you start off with COD, I've only really played COD in my gaming career. I don't know. I'm just gonna say that. I don't know what to call it. But you have to lead the bullet, and depending on how far away they are, You have to lead it farther, and you have to account for bullet drop. So maybe in like the 100 to 150 range, there's like bars at the bottom of the ADS sight. The second bar, no, from the crosshair in the middle of the crosshair, the bar down is where you want to really aim their head at, because the bullet drop will go down to there from like the 100 and the 150 range. Maybe a little below that, maybe in the 50 to 150 range, and then 200 to 250, 200 to 300 maybe. I've never hit a 300 meter snipe. I haven't seen anybody with my own eyes who's hit a 300 meter snipe in my game. But I'm gonna guess it's either the second, not the first one, but the second one, and maybe in between the second and the third one. It's hard to practice it because you don't always get snipers, but yeah, it's difficult for some people, and also on the crossbow it's a little bit more, because the crossbow has way more bullet drop and way more lead that you have to have, because it's really slow in the air. And the hunting rifle, though, that is a difficult one because it doesn't have anything but the crosshair as like a regular AR would. The bottom part of the crosshair, the bottom line, is where I usually do to the 100 to the 50 to 150 line, and then I just go from there. I just guesstimate where to put it. It's sniping. It's hard, but if you can practice it, like the big people like Dakotas and all those people, I think you'll be a-okay for the fights. Okay, so next is gonna be building bases at the end of the game, where there's 15 to 10, and then below that on. Sorry for hitting my mic if that picks up on the recording. I like building 1x1s if I'm gonna. I know that some big people don't like people who camp in the 1x1s, but it's a good start to like get the high ground. And that right there is my next tip. High ground. You always need high ground. If you don't have the high ground, you are at a disadvantage. If you need the high ground, you need to build. Say people are building above, like the stairs up, and you're building the stairs up. You want to build as fast as you possibly can to get above them. Build stairs above them. And if you're that person who gets above them, you want to try and build some floors, and then build up behind you. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't have any footage of it, but you wanna build slanted up with the stairs, and then do 180, and then build two walls right there, and then build stairs right there. And that is a really good vantage point for somebody, because I've seen lots of people like Myth, Ninja, almost every really big Twitch streamer / YouTuber who do that and win the gunfights because of high ground. High ground, high ground, high ground. You need high ground, especially for shotgun close quarter battles. You need high ground because you can get that one-shot headshot on them, because pump, tac, whatever, heavy shotgun. It's either gonna get a one-shot headshot or like 120, 130 damage, which they'll be scared out of their pants if you do that to them. They'll start panicking, and they'll try and start running away. That's when you either pull out your shotgun or your AR, and then you finish them off. And yeah, that's basically the explanation of high ground. So yeah, guys, if you guys think of anything I missed in this video, I'm not gonna cut this video because I do not have the software to cut this video, so it's gonna be an uncut version. There might be a few cuts because like I can cut audio, I just can't cut gameplay, so I might cut a few things out of the audio. But if you guys think I missed anything in the tips and tricks, make sure to leave a comment down below. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below if this helped you, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.